Brahma Chellaney, welcome back. Sorry about that audio link that failed. The question I was asking you, sir, is given what has happened, and you've called what happened on Monday night a turning point, a watershed moment, what are India's options at this point of time? What do you think India needs to do, sir?
First, let's be clear on what India faces. India faces a Kargil-like situation. But this is even bigger than Kargil in terms of the challenge that confronts India. So let's not obscure this reality. For a month and a half, we have been beating around the bush, not facing up to the reality, not facing up to China's well-coordinated aggression. At multiple points, they came in well prepared and occupied vantage locations. And in India, for the last month and a half, analysts on TV have been saying that there is no possibility of a military conflict. The Chinese came in with the intention of engaging in a limited war with India. They came in with requisite forces who included and were backed by requisite number of forces in depth. They had weapon systems, they had missile batteries, so they were prepared for war. And yet in India, for a month and a half, we have been trying to obscure the reality. And now suddenly, because of the violent confrontation which happened because an Indian petrol party was ambushed and brutally attacked, now suddenly we have awakened to the reality that we are faced with a crisis. But we have wasted more than a month and a half trying to turn our heads away from the reality. Let's first accept the fact that what we face is a situation that is even a bigger challenge than Kargil. Once we face that reality and we accept that reality, then we can discuss the options.
Okay, we need to face up to the fact that the implications of what happened on Monday night dwarf what happened in Kargil. We're dealing with China, we're not dealing with Pakistan here. Accepted that this is something that is far bigger than Kargil. Mr. Chellaney, to take your point forward, since what happened on Monday night, and I'm sure that the establishment is still really digesting what happened, given the multiple rounds of engagement on both sides at the military and diplomatic level, what do you think India's next steps will be? Let's assume for a moment that this has been a wake-up call, the reality check has had its intended purpose, and the system understands what it's dealing with. Let's assume, I don't think it is, but let's for a moment assume that is the truth. What should India's next steps be, sir?
Well, first, it should be clear to any Indian policymaker that India cannot accept China's aggression. India cannot put up with the loss of the areas that the PLA has infiltrated. There's no way India can live with the Galwan Valley and the surrounding heights in China's control, because that would completely compromise India's defenses. It will compromise India's new highway to the most forward base, and it will bring India under siege in the event of a war. In the event of a war, the PLA could cut through northern Ladakh and physically link up with Pakistan, putting India under siege. So there is no way India can stomach China's aggression. The issue is India willing to brace to the possibility that it will have to engage in a long, prolonged military standoff with China to regain its lost territories? Right now, it may not be an opportune time for India to open another front, because one way to strengthen your negotiating leverage is to occupy Chinese claimed territory elsewhere in a tit for tat, and then seek to trade off that in the negotiations. But India can only do that at an opportune time. India can only do it when China does not expect an Indian attack. Right now, India should be buying time. India should be bracing to the likelihood that this standoff with China will prolong for months until winter arrives. And India should, most importantly, be willing to state the facts to its public. For the last month and a half, the government of India has been trying to obscure the truth. Even the statement yesterday from the MEA said that the violent confrontation happened because China was attempting to change the status quo. The fact is that this whole confrontation happened on Indian territory. Where is the question of attempt? They have changed the status quo. They're trying to enforce that status quo now. And therefore, we should stop equivocating. Let's be clear about the facts. This entire aggression and the confrontation has happened on Indian soil. The government of India should stop obscuring the truth. I know the government is afraid that if they admit that the Chinese are on Indian territory, the opposition and the public will build up pressure on the government to evict the encroachers. But domestic considerations should not come in the way of the strategic considerations. The country faces a very severe crisis. China's aggression is critical to India's long-term security. How India emerges from this crisis will influence its international standing and its long-term security.
Those are very ominous, foreboding words. How India responds now is going to be very telling and will inform everything that happens as far as India-China relations go into the future, and not just in terms of security.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.